If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
I always do this thing and it always works.
All right, dear listener. We are back with a Sabotage full album review, mega stream by the big homie DJ Mojo.
Next song on the stream is going to be A Little Too Far.
A Little Too Far.
Yep, this is track 5.
Track number 5 on the rock opera record. The name of the rock opera is Streets, I think, is the name of the entire thing.
Well, no, was it? I thought it had a bigger name than that.
I thought it was like Streets, a rock opera.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, Streets, a rock opera.
Okay. All right, guys, here we go. A Little Too Far by the band Savatage. Let's make it happen.
Do you remember? Look at me. At all the things we said we'd be. We'd beat the house, we'd push the odds. We'd take it all, we had the cards. With years to burn and years to trash, living life based on flash, but somehow reaching for the stars. I think we went a bit too far. Gotta get back, gotta get back, gotta get back. I never meant to take it this far. Gotta get back, gotta get back, gotta get back. When everything you touch turns gold, can weigh you down, can make you old. When metal doesn't ring the same, reaction from inside your brain, and all the years we offered up to gods who couldn't get enough.
Whoa.
Though we still stay up all night, the mornings aren't quite as bright. Gotta get back, gotta get back, gotta get back. I never meant to take it this far. Gotta get back, gotta get back, gotta get back. And all those things we thought we learned as we watched our bridges burn. last train out. And Spock and Kirk have had enough. And no one's left to beam me up. Gotta get back, gotta get back, gotta get back. I never meant to take it this far. Gotta get back, gotta get back, gotta get back. I never meant to take it this far. Yeah. Oh. I never meant to take it this far.
Wow, that one. Ugh,
I like that
deep.
one. Yeah, I like
That
one.
is deep.
I feel like he the way that he sung it was just perfect for what he was talking about.
Yeah,
Man.
you know, if there's, you know, sometimes we have like the Daniels and the Madelyns and the rest, you know, 14, 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the biggest thing to me is like the passage of time. How quick time goes by. Like just talking about like that picture. I've got a picture up on my Instagram right now of me in school.
Yeah, yeah.
And I still remember that exact day and exactly what I was doing and all the
Your
rest of it.
memory is just so ridiculous.
You know what I'm
okay?
saying? But it's just like, it just seems like yesterday, man. Like, that's, and there's so many things, like, just looking at that picture where I'm like, yo, it just brought back so many memories. I mean, obviously, not all good memories, but at the same time, even the bad memories are still kind of, like, nostalgic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
just being there was just such a crazy, like, seeing that picture and, like, just being back there is just, like, a crazy thing. But yeah, when it's saying gotta get back, it's like, yo, there's none of that shit in life, bro. Like, there is no get back, there is no do-over. Like, time is going, and that's it. Like, yeah, so there I was.
Yeah.
You guys see the camera up there? And then I had all my bands on here. I had like a this
You've
big
had that
corn.
Well, I'll
thing
tell
on
you,
there,
you still
and then
have that
all this
same
stuff.
attitude.
I also put "I love cops" on this thing too on my
did?
book bag. Yeah.
Why?
I didn't love cops. I just wanted to fuck with people. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously all the gangsters, they hated cops or whatever. And I'm going around in New York City like saying that I was just like such a contrarian. Like I didn't care. I was so stupid.
Oh, things are making more sense now.
I was such an idiot. But yeah, Truman High School, boy. Woo! Brought back memories, bitches. Yeah, but like the whole passage of time and how quick that is, and because when you're young you don't understand. There's so much you don't understand when you're young. There's just so much you don't get when you're young, and like
you don't have the awareness to realize it.
and you don't realize like how entropy and time works, like on this sort of like arc to where like you hit a certain age and it's like the years keep coming faster and faster and faster. I remember like how long it would take to get to Christmas, and then like when Christmas was over I'd feel sad because I'm like, oh my god, we have to wait an entire other year. Same thing with birthdays. Like everything was just slow, and now it's like we're literally on the last tail end of 2022 already. Like that's like one of the major things I would love to communicate to anybody younger than us, is like just how fast all this goes by.
Yeah, I mean, they said that to us. It goes so fast. It goes so fast.
Yeah, your parents say that. You know what I'm saying? But like,
tons of people say
we've
that
got
to
the
me.
kind of cool older brother sister thing going on with Daniel and Madeline and a couple of the other young bucks. Like, it's just you can't get it back once it's there. So just try to live in the moment as much as you can.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is like, so I used to have this same mindset up until like 2 months ago. So don't let me don't let me put it out there that I've been changed for so long. But I just kept having that mindset, like, I got to get back to like who I was, like the way that I was about certain things. And then like, probably like, I don't know, X amount of time ago, I realized like, nope, I have to go to new places. Like the things, the person that you were, you can't compare yourself now to the person that you were when you were a teenager, because a lot of stuff has happened from then till now. And, or you in your 20s or whatever, like whatever comparison that you're doing, like you're not the same person. You've experienced things, you've been through things, life has changed you, and you're a different person. And so to expect that the person that you are now is going to revert back to that person, that's backwards thinking. So you have to just say, you know what? I'm going to a new place. I'm going to go to a healthy place. It's going to be a new place. And, you know, some of the, you know, you can look back at some of the ways, like maybe when you were younger, you were more sympathetic toward people. So maybe you're like, you know, I'd like to get, you can say, I'd like to be more sympathetic like I used to be. But as far as being that person, that's done. And that's okay. That's who you were back then. Be who you are supposed to be now. And that for me, for some reason, was one of the few things that when I got that, it helped change things for me. Because I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to struggle.
Where'd you get that? Was that an active imagination revelation you had?
Yeah.
Wow, that's deep. I tell you, that active imagination, holy shit. That's that really does a lot. Eventually I'll shoot a video on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate songs like this in the sense of like, first of all, it's a really, really good song. But I always like phase out of my worldview and like said, and I think to myself, like, what if this life was all that there was? And the few years you have on the earth is all that. I mean, the more and more I look into science, the more I'm like, that's a ridiculous concept. But like, what if this life is all there was? That this is the only set of conscious experiences you'll ever have? It's like, that's so what a depressing way to look at the world. Holy shit. But at the same time, like he made a lot. He said a line that was pretty crazy where he's talking about, you know, gods that could never, you know, never have enough or whatever. He talked about gods, you know, like that couldn't be satiated. What was the line? Give me a second. Can never depend on you to do that. Always say control, command F. There you go. And all the years we offered up to gods who couldn't get enough. That line is crazy. And honestly, that line to me is the meaning of life in the inverse. And if you can figure this out, you're in good shape. All the years we offered up to gods who couldn't get enough. That's unbelievable. You know, in that song Tonight, like that's one of my favorite lines. We'll find a way to offer up the night tonight. But anyway, like every god demands a sacrifice.
I see so many moons when you play that song.
Huh?
I see so many moons when you play that song.
What song?
Tonight.
What do you mean moons?
You're talking about the one you were playing last night.
Smashing Pumpkins?
No, I got it mixed up. You know the one where it says like we'll find a way to.
That's Smashing Pumpkins.
That is the one you played it last night.
Tonight. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see moons. I'm surprised you don't know what that means. Like literal moons, like different phases of the moon, like up close over water.
Oh well, when they did that original video, they were up in space.
Really?
And the moon was really featured on that song.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Anyway, that line is crazy. Offering up gods who can't get enough. Every god demands a sacrifice. You know, if you look at Tom Brady, like his god has Super Bowl titles, and he's got to sacrifice his family.
Yep.
Right? Like you're gonna cut the throat of something. Someone is gonna bleed out for whatever god that you serve. That's a principle of the universe. You know, whether it's money, you got some people that are like so addicted to money and they can't stop even though they're quadrillionaires and it's not enough.
Yep.
They got to have more.
Yep.
And that's why, like, when I look at like mega rich people, there is always a price to pay. Like that's one of those like internal things that people don't realize, at least spiritually speaking. you see somebody that's at the top of the pile, there's a lot of sacrifices that happen. There's a lot of dead bodies that they're standing on to get to that level.
This part too.
And so when everything you touch turns gold, it can weigh you down, it can make you old. But really, a lot of the meaning of life is to figure out which God to worship. And people think that, I'm going to worship, I'm not going to worship anybody. No, from my vantage point, all of us are designed to worship. It's impossible not to worship. So
if you think you're not worshiping anything.
Yeah. We're all worshiping something.
A lot of things that can help you, like,
actively.
You can usually figure it out by looking at, like, where's most of your money going and where does most of your time go. That basically will tell you what you're worshiping or who you're worshiping.
Well, yeah, and you know, she's right. She's talking about Pelosi. Like, I'm not going to get necessarily political, but y'all know the deal with these politicians. You know what I'm saying? Like, the shit is like, you got people that have power and can't get enough power, have money, can't get enough money, and you see their sacrifice. You see it in their body. You see it in their body language. You see it in the way that they had to sacrifice their own integrity. Every God is going to demand a sacrifice for you. And all of us, 100% of us as human beings, are worshiping in the real world some sort of God. And that worship costs us a sacrifice. And you have to offer up a sacrifice to any God, our God included. Now, obviously, the difference is that our God says, I will become the sacrifice that's necessary for us to work well. But every God demands a sacrifice. So it's like, if you're going to say, man, fuck all that, I'm going to be a secularist and come up with my own world and I'm blah, 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 that's cool. Then you're going to have something, whether it's an addiction or whatever, it demands a sacrifice. Yeah. And the real question is, we should follow a God that gets us a return for our investment. Right? So, like, that's a very pragmatic, practical way of looking at, you know, the world. But really, in my view, the world comes down to who you worship and the sacrifice necessary for that worship to be enjoyed. So, you know, obviously, we've already got the whole template laid out for us. You know, we've been at it for 2,000 years, but even with people that say, "No, I'm not gonna follow organized religion, whatever," it doesn't matter. Like, you're worshiping something, and you can figure out what God you worship by figuring out where all your sacrifices are going. That's one of the easiest ways to find out what God you're worshiping.
I'll tell you, the other thing too I was thinking about was we went to the ocean last night. I do some of my best thinking at the ocean. Something about being by the water, and I love it. Anyway, so I was thinking about how so for me personally, like, I spent the majority of my life worshiping Yahweh, worshiping God, and, like, you know, trying to follow what he wanted, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, I went through a really dark time and I was really angry at God. And it's okay to go through phases like that. Like, I think it's actually pretty natural to the human existence, is that at some point we're going to get upset with God. We're going to get angry at a decision that he's made or however, whatever. So
100%.
I thought, because you used to say, oh, it's okay, like, people should be able to do that. You should be able to be honest in your prayers and stuff. And so I was doing that, but I thought it was like, okay, so like for a couple months I can be angry at God. But then a couple months, it was like 6 months later, I was still angry. And years later, I was still angry. And I'm just now getting to the point, like, as of like a short amount of time ago, that I'm not angry anymore. Like, I'm getting some clarity and I'm getting some understanding of why things had to be the way that they are. And I don't think that you always understand those things. I don't think those things are always revealed to us. But one thing that I realized is everything that I turned to during that time of being, like, angry with God to make me, like, because you know, you talk about worshiping or serving a God, but there's also, like, all of those things that I turned to kind of, like, help me get through the crutches that I was leaning on, all of them made me feel so much like what that line said, like, they can weigh you down and make you old. That's how all of it felt. Everything made me more tired. Everything made me feel more frustrated, more angry. And it was literally the darkest period of my life. Never experienced a darkness like that before. And now that I'm kind of like coming back around, I realize that there are lots of different gods that you can serve. But you know you found the one true God, well, when you're sacrificing ends up benefiting you. It's the weirdest thing. You don't feel more tired after. You feel he
Energized,
gives. Yeah, he gives to you when you're sacrificing. But every other god that demands a sacrifice, you will feel that loss.
It is weird. You'll be physically completely run down, but emotionally, spiritually,
There's
whatever,
something there that
you're like on top of the moon after a hard day's grind with yeah, no, I get that. And, you know, obviously, you know, Emily figured it out. She's like, love, right? So, like, if love is the God that you worship, then, you know, you should be pretty safe, which I agree with 100%. If genuine love is our aim, then I believe it's going to inextricably lead us to the true God. But what people, even love itself has to be defined, because Tom Brady does love football. And I love watching him, but I think that he's sacrificing, I mean, objectively, he's sacrificing time with his family that he could have otherwise had, that he cannot get back because of his love for football. So, like, even love itself can be corrupted almost as a god because he loves football. A person would say, well, yeah, he loves football, but he loves himself more than football, which is true. But it's still a form of love. So it gets tricky. But I think that if you start with love as your aim, at least you can find yourself in the ballpark of getting there. Because obviously, from our view, the scripture says God is love. So if you truly make love your aim, then you're going to find God, or God's going to find you. Right? But then the question has to be, but love of what? Because again, you know, there are people that love certain things, and because of that, they make life a living hell for everybody else. Yeah. And for example, a drug addict loves that feeling of ecstasy and is willing to sacrifice. So
and we can get confused.
But I think that one it gives us at least a compass. Yeah. And then you can measure how close you are to that ideal based on the obvious sort of immediate effects of the people around you. So I just thought that was an interesting.
I think too the love concept is kind of interesting because you can get deceived by what is love and think that something is love when it's actually not. You know, like I'm a part of a lot of different forums with, you know, moms and parents and stuff, and I'm part of one that has like, it's about, you know, stepkids and stepmoms and all that stuff. And there was a stepmother, and she was saying like, I've been with these kids since they were born, basically. Like they were just a couple years old when I took over. I actually didn't tell you this one. Okay. A lot of them start this way. And then she said, you know, the kid is now 16 years old, and the kid wants to contact his drug addict mother, blah, blah, blah. And she's very upset about it because she feels like, I loved this kid. I put out everything for this kid. And now she said that the child is betraying her.
Holy
and I was
smokes. Like, betraying her?
Yeah, that's how she was feeling about it. And she's looking at it as like, I've loved this child and I'm wanting love in return from them. But part of loving someone is understanding where they're at and understanding that, you know, you see it all the time in divorced couples where they'll use the kid as a pawn, and then the kid ends up getting sacrificed on the altar of one of their egos or both of their egos, instead of recognizing that the child has nothing to do with the reason why the two of you got divorced. You couldn't work it out, and that's you. You can't take that out on the kid. And children need to see their parents. Even if their relationship with their parent is really bad, eventually they want to be around their biological parents. And that doesn't mean that they're betraying you. But that's what I'm saying. Like with love, like in a pursuit of love, you can think that something is love. And so, you know, I was going to type something. Sometimes I start typing and then I feel so tired, like to have these discussions that I drop it. But I was thinking like, you can't look at it that way. If you really were loving, because love gives expecting nothing in return. There's a different type of love where it's like give and take and you're expecting something back.
Sure.
But the love that a parent should have for a child, it shouldn't be that you're expecting something back, that this child is going to make, you know, that kid, that's their mother.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that if you really love that child, that it is good for that child psychologically to seek out their mother and to have whatever relationship that they can. And it doesn't take away from what she did all those years for those kids, but putting that if she doesn't get that right, she's gonna put that pressure on that child, and the child's gonna be stuck in between, like wanting to see their mother while at the same time not betraying their so that's a tricky thing with the term, I guess, in my opinion, of love without the brackets of what
context.
makes love.
Yeah, and it's really fascinating. So that stepmother or foster parent, whatever, was looking at love from the perspective of her.
That's what I'm saying. It was like a kind of more of a selfish
But
thing.
if you notice what Emily says, she says drugs cause an artificial brain reaction compared to the feeling I get watching my son feel proud of himself. Like that's so fascinating, because that is a completely other oriented thing, because it's the kid feeling proud of himself. She didn't say, when I say I'm proud of you, which is great, but it's him feeling proud of himself, because that has so many implications that the kid can sit back in a moment of excellence and say, damn it,
I did well.
I just did some shit.
Yeah.
That has so many implications of health for that, but it's completely other oriented. But as I'm reading that, we were contrasting it with that other mom, and no disrespect to her, it must be very difficult, but like, she couldn't see the difference between a self-oriented love and an other-oriented love, like what Emily just said. I thought it was really fascinating, like the way she phrased that as you were talking, because it was like, that is it, is the, I want you to feel proud of yourself, because I'm not always going to be here to say good job. Yeah. Right. And hell, Emily might be wrong one day. She might be on the wrong side of an issue, and the kid needs to be able to, but again, that's like completely other related versus, the other thing, which I think all of us struggle as parents, because our emotions are so inextricably linked to our kids that we can't like separate what we want from what they want and what's best for them. So anyway, that was like a crazy little meta moment. I didn't enjoy this song in the sense of it accomplished exactly what it was designed to do. It was very sad. It was very introspective. Yeah. They did a really, really good job with it. And that guy can really sing, because there are a lot of times when they just stripped everything down and it was only his voice. And I think that's a very intimidating thing to do for vocalists. And so if you're not really confident in your shit, then it's not going to go well. Right, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So this is another 9.8 for me. For sure.
This is a 9.9.
There you go. Yeah. There you go, Mojo. Mojo's
I like what he did there.
A lot of bangers. Mojo, the next song,
we're playing two of them back to back. We're playing You're Alive and Sammy and Tex.
Right.
Without any breaks.
I found a video that has both of them put together. So Mojo, call the play. If you want us to listen to You're Alive, stop it, comment on it, and then do Sammy and Tex.
This link is the two tracks of them back to back. They were meant to be listened to. Some of the lyrics.
Click on it. It might be the same exact one that I have just now.
He said, "Don't stop until you've listened."
5 minutes. Who is it?
You're Alive and Sammy and Tex.
Is it Sav to Toe or whatever? Yeah. Okay, guys, we shall return. We are coming back with more Savatage. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.